The Italians did not. There was you know, I have always said that between what we went through, and I mean this in all sincerity, what we went through in Italy was not anything like what the Jews went through in Germany. I mean, there was, you know, yes, we were always on the go and always looking back over our shoulders, and we didn't have a whole lot of food to eat. But it was not the same. Not the same at all. The Jews in Germany went through 100 times more than what we went through. It's hard, you know, it's hard to believe that 7 million of us perished at German hands. That's a lot. Oh, I do have here a picture. If Alex wants to show it again. That's me, the third one.
Sorry, we've never had any of this.
Did you know this?
I haven't read this book.
This book was just published.
Yeah, it's part of the
Yes,
the
not
book
too
club.
long
They've been
ago.
reading it.
Yes.
And the author
By
is here, right?
the author's name,
Her.
excuse me, she is actually, excuse me, a Christian
Right.
woman,
Right.
and she did a lot of reading and research. There's a whole bibliography in back of the book, which even I want to make a copy of so that I can read some of these books.
I'm gonna try and contact her.
She
The
was
author.
here. She was here. She talked at the Winnetka
Yes,
bookshop about.
yes, she did.
Yeah, I think it
Yeah.
was last May or. Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Look at that. Can you believe that? Unbelievable.
Did you see it, Sandy?
Yeah, I'll look at it again later.
Give me
Okay.
chills. Unbelievable. She went back to Italy or found those pictures. You should contact her.
You know, I got this at the ponds where I live, which is skilled, it's a skilled facility, well, both skilled and non-skilled. They have two buildings, one is the ponds and one is the Welshire. And once a month, the Libertyville Library comes to me and gives me 4 or 5 books to read. And that's what I do during the month. I do a lot of reading, which I've always enjoyed. And I think I think if you kids are interested, they make, you know, I think you're a little young perhaps to read all of this, but I think that someday, if you want to know some history of our people, this would be the book to get. And you will find again, as I mentioned, the bibliography in back, which mentions about 20, 30 books on the same subject.
Mom, why don't you tell us a little bit about when you were liberated and what happened at the end of the war?
Okay. 1945, or no, I should say 1944-45, seemed to take forever and ever and ever for the English forces to come up from the south of Italy to where we were. And which was in the province of Varese, which is north. I do also want to mention before, though, that we also spent probably a year and a half, maybe a little longer, in San Vito di Cadore, which is actually a ski resort. It was high in the mountains, in the Alps, and the Carabinieri were always there looking for us, and which is the police, and Gesundheit, salute, salute, I should say.
Salute in Spanish.
Yes.
You're switching back to Italian, Grandma.
Yes, I want to just mention real quick, I speak 5 languages, and I am very fortunate that at the ponds where I am, the people who work there, I would say probably that 98% of them are Spanish speaking from Mexico, and a few from Cuba, which is the island of Cuba. And so I'm at my, at my best. I speak Spanish with them all the time, and so I probably speak better Spanish now than I do Italian. Even though a lot of the words are very similar between the 2 languages. Some are entirely different. So
Like French and Spanish. They're similar, but some are different.
right. And French is actually more difficult than Spanish because Italian and Spanish, you have A, I, A, E, O, U. Those are the vowels. And so they're pronounced very similarly, whereas French is pretty much quite a bit different. And the only time I really spoke a whole lot of French was in school, where I took French. At home, my parents spoke to my brother and I in German, and we always answered them in Italian.
Mishmash language.
And a lot of times, there were 5 languages or 4 languages in the same sentence. So it
Hola,
was.
how are you? I'm fine. How about you?
So, let's see,
We're talking about the end of the war.
the end of the war, right? We were in this, we were in a, when we were in San Vito di Cadore, which is in the Alps, we met a family there who were vacationing and became very good friends. And they were also Jewish, by the way. And they told us that if at any time we needed help or needed a place to stay, they would be more than happy to put us up, which is actually what happened. And I am very, very sorry that somehow I didn't keep up with writing between some of these families who helped us. Life gets busy, and so it's hard sometimes to do that. In 1945 then, in the province of Varese, which I showed you, we were liberated first by the English, and they had in their regiment a battalion, excuse me, of Israelis or Palestinians at the time, Palestine, which, by the way, history-wise, in 1948 became a state, as I'm sure you know. We were given a choice. My mother had family that had immigrated to the United States in Buffalo, New York, pre-war. And my father had a sister in Israel, also immigrated there, pre-war. My father also, as a teenager, was in Israel and worked there in a kibbutz. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. And his sister, who, well, she may still be alive. No.
What's her name?
Hulda Poliki. Somehow, someone from the family immigrated to the United States, and they were and lived in Los Angeles. We did get a hold of each other at one point and communicated, but people get busy and forget, and it goes by the wayside, unfortunately. If you someday might have friends, etc., make sure you write down the names and addresses and phone numbers, so that if at any time you want to get a hold of them or want to become friends again, you have that information. Unfortunately, I was not that smart, and I did not do it, or even my parents didn't think about it. When we were in hiding in Italy, I mentioned this family that we became friends with. They put us up with a family on a farm, and our bedroom was with the cows. Yes.
Oh, girls.
As I would do. There's another sound that I'm going to mention that I'm good at doing. And look at my son.
Is that where it came from? Is that where the turkey comes from?
Yes. Yes.
Oh my God.
One more time?
You learned that.
No? Okay.
And that transformed it from turkey to chicken.
No. I did that to a turkey once at Lamb's Farm and it chased me. I have no idea what I said.
It was probably a grandson or grandchild of the one in Italy.
Yeah.
Let's see.
We can have just a little time too, Chris, for questions.
Oh, sure.
Because we've got about,
Okay.
so maybe if you,
Okay.
want to take a couple more minutes and then I see this on C-SPAN all the time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I can actually do it.
No, that's fine.
So we'll have like maybe the last 5 minutes for questions, is that okay?
That's fine.
Okay.
In Varese, we were liberated by first the English, and then they had a battalion with them from Israel, and from Palestine, and my mother didn't want to leave Italy yet because she wanted to find out if any of her family was still alive. And so we stayed until 1947, at which time my mother did find that her mother was still alive, and we had her come to the United States, and she lived with us for another, I would say, 15, 20 years.
Your grandmother?
Yes, Emsheimer.
You never told me this.
Great,
I'm
great.
sorry.
Wait, Dad, great great grandma? Question mark?
Right. And now, my grandmother's mother, great grandma Suze, she lived to be 96, 97. But they were not, my grandmother was interned for a very short time, but then it was set free. And my great grandparents and some of the family moved to South America in goodness gracious,
Argentina, maybe?
in Argentina, yes,
Argentina.
Argentina, in Montevideo. Actually, it was in Uruguay.
Oh,
That's
okay.
what I thought.
Yeah, Uruguay. Yes,
Um,
and they still live there. And
okay.
they had have a son that moved, I believe, to New York, and as far as I know, he might, they might still be there someplace. I know I had some relatives in the Bronx and in Queens. In Los Angeles, and this might interest you, I have a second cousin, and the daughter is and was the famous star of Evita.
That's actually on Dad's side.
That side, yes,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, on
It's
that
on
side,
Grandpa's side?
Yeah.
yes.
I talk with Valerie all the time on Facebook.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. She just went to Argentina. She stood at the Casa Rosada and did the whole, she did, yeah, there's pictures of her with her hands up. She did the whole thing.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Ah, what a sight that must have been. When I'm at your house,
Yep, I'll show you the pictures.
good. She's a beautiful, beautiful woman.
Anyway.
Anyway, yes. So when we finally we were in Italy until 1947. We waited and waited and waited to get visas either from Israel or from the United States. As I mentioned, my mother had family in Buffalo, New York, and so we didn't know where to go. Whichever came first, we decided that's where we would go, and the United States came through first. So we landed in Bayonne, New Jersey, in 1947. And I believe it was July.
Near my birthday.
It's cold inside. You have to tell that story.
Okay, okay. When we first came to the United States, we landed in New Jersey, but were put up in a hotel, Marseille, on 103rd Street in New York City. There, we learned some English, and my brother, who was, believe it or not, he's kind of a kind of a joker, and he put some ice. Oh, everywhere we went, there was stores, and on the window it said, "It's cool inside." like it was.
Air conditioning was
beginning of
new.
Air conditioning.
Right.
Right, which was a real novelty, but oh, how wonderful. When you have 103 degrees, and so you go into the store just to get a coffee, hot coffee, and a glass full of ice water. Anyway, my brother put ice cubes in his mouth, and he went, "Screw inside." Okay, so we were in New York, and we were given a choice by the JUF, the Jewish Federation. They got a hold of the Jewish Federation and Council of Greater Kansas City, and then they told us that we could either go to Toledo, Ohio, which had a Jewish population, Kansas City, Missouri, which had a very large German Jewish population, and then there was another city, but I don't quite remember where it was. So anyway, we decided to go to Kansas City, Missouri, and where I was first put into 3rd grade. I did that for a year. I skipped the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th grade, and went to the 8th grade. The reason for that was that, number one, I learned to speak English. 2, in Europe, at the time, schools were much more advanced than the schools here in the United States. I had algebra, and I was very poor at it, but I had it in the 3rd grade. So I had geometry, which was a little bit easier, but that was my schooling, and then, as I said, I went to high school, and then my dream was, and one thing I want to mention, right after school, took a bus, and actually streetcar, then a bus, and I had a job at the Jewish Federation and Council of Greater Kansas City at the age of 13. What did I do? I stuffed envelopes and licked them. Had a few cuts too on my tongue.
So do you want to do the kids have any questions?
Yes.
Got just a few minutes, and if you guys,
It's actually 12:25 right now.
well,
I'm sorry.
no, that's okay, you were wonderful, I mean,
Oh,
we
thank
can
you.
sit down. You were wonderful. This is so difficult,
Thank you.
and it was so, this is what we're talking about, all of this, and we studied this year, we did this whole thing about how Jews have gone from country to country, and we looked at that through history. So, and this, I just said to them before you came, this is the 20th century version of what Jews have done in the past,
Right,
from the Inquisition on up.
exactly.
So,
Somehow, we always managed to survive.
well, as you said, not everyone, but
Through, yeah, right, through hook or crook.
yeah.
Traditional Jewish holiday. They tried to kill us, they failed. Let's eat.
Well,
That's my son, my
yeah,
grandson.
your grandson, yeah. Well,
I got hers and Papa Howard's sense of humor.
Oh, yes.